I am going to teach you how to use the slab roller. For the coil demo, I showed you how to create small slabs using the rolling pin and the slab guides of different thicknesses. But when you want to create a large slab like we're going to do for the slab mug project, it's easier to do it with the slab roller because it's less work on your arms, and also rolling a large slab on a table with wheels is really difficult. So this slab roller, to control the thickness, instead of putting different guides in there, we are adding or subtracting different thicknesses of boards. So the clay actually gets rolled through two rollers here. It gets sandwiched in between this piece of canvas, and the boards that control the thickness are underneath it. So we have 4 boards, 2 thicker boards, which are about 1/4 of an inch, a little over 1/4 of an inch thick, and then 2 thin boards, which are about 1/8 of an inch thick. So if you want a very thick slab, you're going to only have 1 thin board in there. If you want a really thin slab, then you would add all of the boards into the slab roller. But for most of your projects, a really good thickness is about 1/2 an inch or a little bit less. So 2 thicker boards is kind of the standard width that you would be using. So I'm going to have 2 thick boards here. What I want to make sure to get set up is making sure that these boards are inserted in between the 2 rollers in the center here. So I can see the boards on the other side, the right-hand side of the roller here. And then the next step is to put the canvas mat down. It's 1 continuous sheet of canvas, and the folded end goes at the roller side, and I'm going to tuck it underneath so I can see it again on the other side of the roller. There's a manual crank handle that controls the rolling pins here in the middle. So when you're ready to roll a slab, what you're going to do is get it all set up, peel back the canvas layer, and then grab your clay. For the slab mug project, since you need a very long piece of clay, I would suggest getting about 2 pounds of clay. So if you cut it off of that big tall stack, it's roughly, 2 or 3 inches thick. If you're cutting it off of the smaller cylinders that are of recycled clay, you're probably going to take a chunk that's about 6 or 7 inches tall. What you can't do with this slab roller is stick an enormous chunk of clay through here and think that this piece is going to get rolled very thin. So you have to prep the piece of clay before you start rolling. So what I'm going to do is just take my hand and pat the clay into a flattened shape. I also want to get it going in the long way because I want a nice long thin slab or narrow slab. So I'm going to just take some time, use my hand, and get it going in a longer pattern here. If it's too wide, I'm going to roll it through here, and then my template is not going to be long enough to fit on it. So get it going the direction that you want, and then since it's rolling through the slab roller this way, I want the piece to be longer, so I'm going to put the clay the long way, so it will end up getting longer. It'll get a little bit wider too, but I want the length to it. So just flatten it down a little bit. And now I'm going to put the canvas over it, and now I'm just going to take this handle here and turn it clockwise. I also am going to support it on the end here, so as I turn it, I'm coaxing it through. If at any point it becomes stuck, it means you haven't flattened out the piece of clay enough. then you would just have to unroll it a little bit, push it down a little bit more, and continue rolling the slab. So once I get to the end, I have a lot of extra clay here, and that's okay. I'm going to back it up. And there is my slab. This part is just excess. I don't need this clay. But now I have a nice, long, thin slab for the wall of my mug or anything else that you're going to build.